You are about to experience the Skip Bayless Show, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Okay, so the announcement has come. Now we know. Opening Thursday night, the first NFL game of the season, I believe it's 8:20 Eastern time on NBC, will feature the Philadelphia Eagles, now the defending champions, the team I picked to win it all before last year even commenced. And now, officially, my Cowboys are 0-1 because opening night will feature my Dallas Cowboys at Philadelphia Eagles. So you can book it right now. We will lose that game. But I am now here to tell you, I feel far better about our chances to compete than I have in a long time. I mean, how dreary was that last game? I think it was December 29th last season at Philadelphia, Dallas at Eagles. Remember that game? I can barely. That game featured Cooper Rush, now the Baltimore backup, against Kenny Pickett, now one of 5 quarterbacks competing in Cleveland. In Cleveland? That game last December 29th was 41-7 Philadelphia. Cooper Rush, a guy I loved and I will miss, was pathetic in that game through 2 picks. Saquon Barkley ran wild. Jalen Hurts, again, didn't even play. And we got cakewalked. We got steamrolled. We got humiliated and annihilated at Philadelphia at the end of a long, hard, pathetic Dallas Cowboys season. Ugh. How quickly I try to forget. But now it's going to be different. Why? Laugh if you must, but it's going to be different because of a potential TO, a potential team obliterator. The newest Dallas Cowboy, George Pickens. Yeah, I said it. George Pickens will change life in Dallas. Yeah, I'm going to predict it right here, right now. My Cowboys will cover on opening night. We're 7-point dogs at Philly already. We'll lose, but we will cover. It will be a fairly close game. We will come within fewer than 7 points of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to win. We will cover. Book it because of George Pickens. Now, yeah, Steeler Nation, I fully realize, I know that the great Mike Tomlin finally said no to George Pickens. Finally. And yes, Steeler Nation, I fully realize, I know that the great Mike Tomlin finally said no to George Pickens, finally decided George Pickens was far more trouble than he was worth after so many on-field incidents, so many penalties, so many fines, so many Sundays when he showed up late to the stadium on game day, past the cutoff time for players' arrival. And I will admit to you, that last issue scares me the most. And yep, it does make me a little queasy that the great Mike Tomlin kept saying George Pickens just needs to grow up and finally decided he never will. And yeah, Cowboy Nation, I know that back in college at Georgia, George Pickens was suspended for a first half of a game for violating team rules. Scares me. And then for the first half of the SEC championship game for fighting in the Georgia Tech game. That's just who he is. And then I know that Pickens' 40 time didn't exactly drop jaws, 4.47, and he had battled various college injuries, including hamstrings. Scares me. So he fell all the way through the first round to 52nd overall in the draft. And he became a meme after being pictured wearing a ski mask as, in his parents' living room, he watched Pittsburgh take him in the second round. He later admitted he was a little salty that he hadn't been taken in the first round. Well, I can't blame him for that. Look, I know all of the above, and right now I can't care about any of the above. I just want to rise above what we have been. I'm just telling you the truth. I just have this deep down, tiny little happy tickle of a feeling that George Pickens is the best thing that has happened to my Dallas Cowboys in, forever. I actually like their chances far, far better next season and even at Philadelphia in that opener because they finally did something. They finally plunged on a high-risk, high-reward George Pickens. By George, we now have a chance to compete with the Eagles and the Commanders and maybe even avoid last place in the NFC East, where I thought we were heading until this trade came down. Thank you, Jerry Jones. You finally did something. Just did something. You quit fiddling around while your Rome burned. You quit dozing off as you often do during free agency. All those low-risk, low-reward moves. You finally marched right back out there into that NFL oil field, and you plunged the way you used to in the real oil fields back in the day. You risk hitting nothing but an immature dry hole in George Pickens. But you also gambled on gusher potential for a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick, and you get back a sixth. It's worth it, Jerry. Finally, Jerry, you actually acquired potential game-changing, difference-making talent. George Pickens proved in 3 Pittsburgh seasons to be, and I'm not exaggerating, the best deep threat in the National Football League. Back in 2023, he averaged a league-high 18.1 yards per reception. Over his career, he's been 16.3 yards per reception. That's the best of any receiver in the last 3 years since he came into this league. And I know he is not blazing fast. That's not it. It's that he tracks the ball the way Lynn Swann once did against my Cowboys in 2 Super Bowls. George Pickens rises the way Lynn Swann used to rise, so athletically and gymnastically and gracefully with rare timing and a rare pair of big, strong hands that can just rip the football away from stunned DBs. In one way, only one way, but in one way, George Pickens does remind me of Travis Hunter, and that's when the ball goes up, it's his, it's Travis's, it's George's. Look, in the end, rare talent prevails in the NFL. What happened a year ago? The great Howie Roseman in Philadelphia signed a rarely explosive back named Saquon Barkley. That was in free agency. Then in the draft, he came away with 2 rarely talented corners, by far the 2 best corners in that draft, and it was fly, Eagles, fly all the way to a Super Bowl championship. Look, in Dallas, we already had the most productive receiver in football. We had CeeDee Lamb, who just kept fighting through double coverage and trying to catch balls from a quarterback, Dak Prescott, he does not deeply love or completely trust. But now Pickens will strike fear on the other side. Now Pickens will honest up defenses, make them honor his home run capability, And his red zone contested catch TD stats at 6 feet 3 inches tall and 200 pounds. He plays even bigger than that, especially in the red zone. Now my Dallas Cowboys have a real live talent opposite CD, albeit a thin-skinned, hot-headed diva of a talent, a potential TO as in team obliterator, but a talent with something to prove both to Mike Tomlin for dumping him and to Jerry Jones, who's drawn a line in the sand, said he's going to make George Pickens play out the final year of his rookie deal without a new contract. That's brilliant, Jerry. Way to go. Here we go. Yeah, you got me on this. I readily admit George Pickens is a thin-skinned, hot-headed diva who has not yet grown up, who will make waves when he's thrown only, 3 or 4 balls to CD's dozens. So be it. Let the chips fall. Because I'm just sick and tired of cow chips falling like dung all over the football field for my Dallas Cowboys. Let the chips fall now because they're talented poker chips. I mean, Jalen Tolbert scares nobody. I know he's Dak's little buddy, but I don't care. Now I got George Pickens. And okay, you got me on this one. It's not like we have a Philadelphia stronghold of tone-setting leaders in our locker room who'll lay down the law to George Pickens. I've said it from the start. We have just one baller on our team. That's CeeDee Lamb. But he pretty much stays to himself, kind of leads only himself. Micah just doesn't get it yet, just hasn't grown up. Dak isn't a dynamic leader because he doesn't always back up his pregame rah-rah speeches with big game performances. That's his problem. But at least Dak's smart enough. He's experienced enough to spread the sugar fairly equally between CD and pick. Dak throws a lot of picks, but now he's throwing to a pick, as in Pickens. And I'm telling you the truth from my heart. I actually love this. Now, might Pickens soon turn into a Terrell Owens, a team obliterator? Well, yeah, he well might. Mike Tomlin is probably privately betting on it as we speak. You know, and I know, when you're playing at Jerry's Palace in Dallas, it can go to your head pretty quickly. Dallas, Texas has a long history. I've written 3 books about it. Long history of hero worshiping its Cowboys right into oblivion. And George Pickens is certainly a candidate to fall into that trap of a sad pantheon. But I just don't care. Not now. The Eagles and the Commanders are just too good right now for me to care. Jerry went out and got us a rare talent, a combination Lynn Swann and Travis Hunter. And yeah, I know, somewhere Mike Tomlin is watching this video, watching this show, and chuckling a low and knowing chuckle.